Hi Facebook. Oh, it's funny light. I'm Ellie Frost, and this is a video that I've just been working on with my mastermind about how to set the most powerful intentions and goals, or what I think is the most powerful way to set intentions and goals for the new year. And it's a little bit controversial, but it's what I know to be true, especially when you're working with manifestation and universal law and, you know, that kind of energy. So it's counterintuitive because what most of us were probably taught about was things like SMART goals, like be really specific about what you want, get really clear, make it measurable, make it timely, and all that kind of stuff. But I think that can actually hold us up because it gets us, hi Maddie, it's not showing me the comments. If you comment, I don't know if I can see you. The challenge with when we get really specific about things, it often gets us stuck in the how. And when we get stuck in the how, we often get stuck in resistance. It's awesome to see you live. I've got this really funny light thing going on that I haven't managed to fix, but never mind. So what I want to talk about is actually what I've just been talking about in our mastermind, which you probably haven't seen yet, but I just felt like everyone needs to hear this. So it's super powerful is what is the most powerful way to set intentions and goals? And that's what we're going to be working on. And I'm just sharing this in my group. Hang on a second. So, although like it can be useful to have really specific goals, what we're actually after is like the overall feeling and the, oh, it's quite celestial. Yeah, it's my angel wings. But what we tend to do is be taught that we need to get really, really specific about our goals, right? And for me, that's a stage 2, because the first thing, especially if you want to get in the energy of something, is to get really general about why you want it. So I would set your intentions in every area of your life really generally. So I would focus on things like the generalist statement you can make. I just want more freedom. I just want to do more impactful work. Like I was saying in my group, I have 2 businesses, the online business, which is coaching people, and I have a personal branding business where I work with certain influencers and leaders, right? But I don't really care that it comes through those businesses. What I care about is my overall intention, which is to empower, inspire, and change people's lives through, you know, shifting their perspective and their consciousness, basically. So I could do that in a multitude of ways. And if I ever get into resistance, I just focus on that overall vision. The overall vision is actually not that specific. It's completely general, and that enables me to not get into resistance and not attach to any particular how. So I'm not looking for that particular person or that particular thing to enable me to achieve that vision. I'm very connected energetically to what that overall is. So I really suggest that when you set your intentions, I always fell straight over with all those details. Yeah, exactly. Now the challenge is, as people, when we start trying to figure out how, it often gets us into resistance and stuck. And often another thing is, so for example, say you're doing a job at the moment that you don't like. So I'm in the job that I don't like. That's a good indication that I've sent a desire, a transmission to the universe that I want a different type of work, and then I get to know why. So then we can think about, well, why is that? Well, I want more freedom, or I want more abundance, or I want more connection with colleagues, or whatever it is. And just by noticing that, we've already set out that desire. So we're already lining up with that in our energy. But what most of us do is then go, oh God, so I'm in the wrong job, or we start feeling bad about it, and we start feeling that that next thing isn't available to us, and it puts us into resistance, and then it slows down the energetic kind of attraction and manifestation of that goal. So the best thing to do is not base it on any kind of judgment or being right and wrong, but being very general about what you want. Well, I want freedom, I want abundance, I want fun, I want to be spiritually connected, I want to work with people that I really love. And even if you get specific at a later stage on who those clients are, who those people are, know that the universe knows better than us. So just by knowing that I want to work with people that I love, I want to work with people that I can impact, I want to work with people that, I don't know, whatever it is, get general again, because the more general you get, the more the universe can kind of provide to you what you want. The more Pacific you get, the more you're clinging on to a how. And the time to get Pacific is when you've got really general and you're dancing with details. So you're kind of like dreaming around, wouldn't it be nice if I had these kind of leaders? Or wouldn't it be nice if I did this type of work? But that is really a dance we do to energize that overall vision, that overall general vision, rather than us trying to prescribe how it has to come to us, because all we really want is the general. We want that overall emotion, and people often say, and I say, you know, all we're really after is the emotion. But what does that mean? What it means is that much more vague, kind of broader perspective. It's just freedom, it's just abundance, it's just joy, it's just connection, it's just love, it's just energy, it's just things that make me feel good. And we often think we know what that's going to be, but if you're working with universal law, then actually the universe can deliver much better to us. The more we focus on that general, the more we get into that point, and we don't get caught up. You see, if we're focusing on the general, we don't get into resistance. So, you know, that idea of, you know, this or something better is that idea of, well, I think it could come this way, and I think it would be this kind of business, but I'm open to what that could look like. Another really good question I put in the mastermind was about when you've done your desires. So say you say, oh, I want to be rich, or I want to be abundant, then just asking the question, rather than, you know, sometimes you can affirm that and sometimes that can really work for you. But if you ask the question of, why do I get to be so rich? Or why do I get to be so abundant? Or why do I get to be so happy? Or why do I get to be so fulfilled? You don't get any resistance in your mind, because your mind doesn't backlash you and go, well, you don't deserve that, or, you know, that's not available to you. So asking those kind of powerful questions, which again, it's counterintuitive, and you don't have to come up with an answer to it, but it's a much better question to kind of meditate and sit with, is once you've got these more general general goals, is about then, you know, why do I get to be like that, or why do I get to be this happy? Or it just changes the brain, it just changes the way the brain feels about it, and you don't get hit with all the resistance, and so you get to focus on that more, and it's more powerful. So I just wanted to share this. Once you've got really general and you've got in the energy of that, then you can get specific, but you're only getting specific on details to dance, to kind of like, you know, just to kind of have that kind of feeling of, well, wouldn't it be nice if it was this or this or this? So you're just coming up with ideas that make you feel good around it, but it's not to get you caught up on it. It has to come this way, because every time we get caught up on it has to come this way, we close down limitless potential. And every time we close down limitless potential, we get into scarcity and lack, because we think it's not working. And we think it can't possibly be this simple to get what I want, but it is. Yes, it absolutely is. It absolutely works. We are a testament to that. But I know that for me as well, like anytime we get caught up, it's because we're normally putting conditions on things. We're getting really conditional. We're saying, I want this, it has to come this way on some level, and that puts us into resistance. And the way to come out of that, and the way to set the most powerful intentions to start with, is the really general. I just want more freedom. What does that feel like? What does that mean to me? But in a very general way. Well, it's the freedom to do this, this and this. It's abundance to fulfill all my desires and dreams. And if we focus on that, we don't get into that resistance, and then we get to be Pacific. But you only get Pacific after you've done stage one. If you do that, you know, SMART goal thing, it can work, and it did work for me. You know, it can work, but it's normally a much longer route. And this way, you get to accelerate your results, and you get to actually know what it is at the core. You know what the emotional or what the bigger kind of thing that you want is. It's not actually necessarily that business or that client or that job. It's a certain feeling, it's a certain expansion that you want in your field, and the way that you accelerate your movement towards it is to get really general again about know what that is, rather than get caught up in how it has to come to you, because the universe can deliver what you want in a better way than you could prescribe, because we're always coming from our limited standpoint of our past and our thinking. So we open up to our expansion by getting really general with our intentions, really general with our goals, using the Pacifics as a kind of, wouldn't it be nice if this, you know, a way that we think it could come to us, but not getting too attached to them. So we hear this concept of not being attached to the outcome, and by setting your intentions and goals this way, it's very, very easy not to get attached to the outcome, because you know that you're focused on the bigger picture. You're focused on that more general thing. I want more love and abundance. I want more creativity. I want more fulfilling work. And then we think we know what that looks like, but that's where we limit ourselves. You see, if I just focus on creative and fulfilling work, if I just focus on that's what I want, and then just exploring the millions of ways that could that could pan out, knowing that, you know, I can then co-create with the universe in the best way that could work for me, rather than sticking this particular condition on what that looks like. Hi, Barty. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's a massive breakthrough, because I've seen this, like, I just absolutely know, because I've coached now so many people, I know where people get stuck, and I know it's about the conditions. I know it's about when they get really, really specific about how it has to come, and they're missing the point. The point wasn't that particular job or that particular person. It was a particular bigger picture vision and aspiration. So when we start feeling out of alignment, when we start feeling negative emotion, it's often because we are getting too specific about what we want, where we need to go back to the bigger picture. So I'm suggesting that for this year, start with those bigger picture things, and every time you get into resistance, go back to them. Remember what it was about. It's about freedom and abundance. It could come in so many different ways. It's about love and connection. It was about happiness and fulfillment, right? And you don't know, like, we don't know from our limited perspective exactly what that has to be right now. We just want to be open to the possibilities and receiving what that is. So although we can dance with and then get specific in ways that we think it would light us up for that to come, we want to always go back to that general perspective and actually start from it, which is what I don't think anyone teaches that. Well, not many people teach that. They normally teach you to get to start with the real kind of specifics on it, but it kind of limits and contracts your energy. So that's what I wanted to share. Get really general with what you want. Start with that first. Get in that energy first, in that awareness first. Know what it's really about, and then use the details and the specifics of those goals to just like dance with the details of what could light you up, what could be good about it. So yeah, I'm not saying don't know who your ideal clients are, for example. Don't know what would light you up, but be more open than that, because know what the bigger picture was. The bigger picture was, for me personally, it's, you know, I want to work with people that inspire me, that I can impact, but that, you know, and be creative with, and, you know, have high vibe conversations with, and just like have a lot of fun with it along the way. So that's my bigger picture, and then I know what my kind of, what I think that looks like, but I don't get caught up in that how. I know what that bigger vision is, and that's what I'm calling in all the time, right? So you know, I want that pitch and catch with people. That's what my business is about. It's not about, you know, it's stimulating to me as well. So knowing that that's the bigger picture, I don't then get caught up on the details of it, although I know what feels right in that kind of environment, but I'm much more open to the limitless potential and you know, abundance of how that could show up. And that's the key to Accelerate Manifestation, is being much more open to the limitless ways and not contract your energy and start being so conditional about what it has to be, because our conditions are based on our limited thinking, and our brains can only compute from our past, you see. So we want to co-create with the universe. We want to allow things in that we couldn't even imagine. And that's the magic and the miracle place. The light bleed is because it's pouring behind you from outside. If you can't find a background that isn't like a window, you wouldn't have the same... I know, yeah, I haven't planned this very well. As you know, like, part of my other thing was I want a business that works around me, and I want to be able to show up in my swimsuit or in whatever I'm doing, as we all know. So yeah, I do things that are not that professional, which was part of my dream as well, and what I wanted to create. And my lighting today is not good, and I thank you, Maddie, for telling me why. I will improve on it. But yeah, you know, and that's another thing, like, you know, that's part of what I wanted to create, was something that could work around me, my time, my freedom. I could just be myself. There didn't need to be any airs and graces, very different to my previous life, and that's what it is. So I know what that bigger picture is. I'm not too specific on exactly what that has to look like, but I know it has to give me freedom and the ability to express myself, and the main focus is the message and what I want to share. It's like I have to dump my whole brain out the window. Yeah, our brains are so unhelpful a lot of the time, aren't they? The brain is programmed on what's familiar, and it's basically a computer database of our past. It's not our sat-nav through life. And so when we get into our intuition and learn how to co-create with the universe, we are then able to move forward in a much better way, because our thinking is always limited. Our brain can only compute what it knows. It's always extracting data from things it's seen and from our past. And then if we use that to project into our future, we limit our expansion, and we certainly limit our acceleration if we really want to like change things and transform and shake things up. So it's only past news. Yeah, so we have to learn how to how to work with the mind, and how to work with our kind of truth, which is our intuition, that's our impulses, that's our desires, that's when we get that feeling of, oh, I don't like this, that most of us will then go into judgment and go, oh my God, so my life is wrong, I don't like this aspect of my life. That's not what really happened. What's happened is we've now expanded into something greater, and this particular thing that's in front of us may not be serving us anymore. So what we need to know is that's actually just me sending a transmission to the universe that I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for an improvement in this area, a more fulfilling level, and I don't need to like start looking at it and making it wrong, but I just need to stay with the broader energy of, well, what would that next thing look like, and how would it feel, and what's it about? Is it about more freedom? Is it about more connection? You know, what is it? And staying in that energy can transform the existing relationships or bring in new ones, whatever is going to be most fulfilling to us. But that's the trip point that most people get into. They start feeling their expansion, which is that new desire, and then looking at their life and making it wrong. And that's not the point. The point is, I feel that, oh, this no longer is aligned with me, I must have expanded beyond it. So then what is this new feeling that I'm desiring? What is this new element that I want to bring into my life? And then if I can stay in that general space with that and move towards it, I don't need to get too caught up in, oh my God, so I've got to leave this now, and I've got to, like, you know, it's not that. It's much more about, I get to open my intuition and I get to open my possibilities by knowing that I must have expanded beyond this situation and there's something better for me, and all I've got to do is stay in the energy of that, be open to the inspired ideas, and then take the action when it feels right in order to go to that next level. And it can unfold really easily if we stay there, if we stay in that effortless space. But if we start to impose conditions and force it, it doesn't work. And every time we force it, it's because we're kind of feeling like, oh my God, this is wrong, and so therefore I need to do something, rather than, oh my God, I must have expanded beyond this, there's something greater for me, I can't wait to see what that is, and I'm going to stay in that aligned energy. I don't like it, it's just noticing we've expanded. It's not a problem. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a sign of expansion. It's a sign that we've now sent a transmission out to the universe that, okay, we're ready for something else. And then, you know, we start making judgments and going, well, it must mean that I need to leave my job, or it must mean that I need to leave my relationship. Not necessarily. It might just mean that that's about to transform, or there's a new level of that that's available to us if we just focus on the general thing or the general feeling that we want next, that what is that desire that is now being presented to us. And that's the point of transformation and the point of power, and where most of us trip up because we get in that tug of war with our emotions and we start feeling negative emotion and going out of alignment with it because we start judging it as wrong, or we start feeling like, oh, there's a separation between me and my vision, or I'm not there yet, or I should be there. And that's what actually slows us down, because it's not that that's happened, it's that we've already sent out that transmission, and we will move towards it as long as we can stay in that energy and know that it's possible for us and believe that that's what we're moving towards, and that's all it's there to show us. It's not that we got it wrong, it's not that where we are is wrong, it's that there's something greater that that we're moving towards right now. I'm sorry about these lines. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope it makes sense. We're doing this in the mastermind. It's super powerful. There's a few stages to it. So, you know, you get general and then you get specific, but you know how to dance to the details, and you get this blueprint of what you can always come back to. So if you want to find out more about that, then message me. And otherwise, guys, have a great day.